Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Gavin Sandell. Well, we'll get to see the full beaver moon the next 2 nights, and while naming it after an animal, it's cute and all, but we can give it another nickname, the beaver moon. And like I mentioned in a previous Weather 101 segment, there's actually names for each and every month. I'll link that down below in a previous Weather 101 article, but this month, the beaver moon is the one for November, but we could also consider it a super moon, and I'll describe in the minutes after that why that is. But first we need to go over how the moon moves and what it operates under. And just like what the Earth does around the sun, the moon orbits around the Earth. It goes around the Earth. It takes about 28 days for that orbit process to happen, and for that reason, that's why we see the moon phases, like the full moon, the half moon, the crescent moon. The Earth takes about 365 days to orbit around the sun. Remember those two things, but you'll also notice on there, if you have a keen eye, that orbit doesn't quite look like a circle. That's an ellipse, and on each side of that, the distance from the Earth to the moon isn't quite equal. So let's just say you're over here. It's actually further from the Earth from on a different side of the phase, or a different side of the orbit on the other side. And we call those two parts, when it's the furthest and the closest to the Earth, we call the furthest apogee, which is 250,000 miles around from the Earth, and at perigee, it's 220,000 miles from Earth. And so when the moon gets to perigee and it's a full moon, then we consider that a supermoon in our area. And so that's exactly what's happening today. The the moon is going to be 221,000 and some change miles away tomorrow, and tonight is when the full moon occurs. And it's going to happen 222,066 miles away from each other. And 90% of perigee is when we consider typically for there to be a supermoon in our area. So that covers a couple of months, which I'll detail in a little bit, but there's also other effects as well. Obviously, the moon gets bigger during a supermoon because it gets closer to Earth, but we also see about a 30% change in brightness between a supermoon and the antithesis of that, a micromoon. And yeah, like I said, typically happens about 90% of that percentage of perigee, and it happens 3 to 4 times a year. We're actually in the second straight supermoon of this year. The first one was in October. It's going to continue into December and January as well, and we won't see this cycle continue again until we get to next November, where it will occur November, December, and January of 2027. And another fun fact as well, because the moon controls ocean tides, supermoons can cause king tides, where high tides can peak several inches above average. For Weather 101, I'm Gavin Sandell.